Hello, and a very warm welcome to this new episode of the Values Workshop. Uh,
Hello,
we are in the youth series, and I have with me the privilege of speaking to Irene Thomas. Irene is a law student. She's doing her BA and LLB together, and it's a combined course. She's been talking about a lot of things since yesterday, but our Wi Fi wasn't working. So we are here today, early morning. And thank you, Irene, for joining us today.
welcome.
Uh, So this is the youth series, and I'm running an alphabetical order of things. So today we are on the letter I, and the topic I have chosen is Insta.
Okay,
Uh, Insta here does not necessarily have to restrict itself to the Insta we all know, love, and hate
right.
in equal measure, but the instant gratification that we look for in everything, perhaps. Let us see how it works out. So first thing first, what do you think about Insta, the app?
I personally love the app because I'm from when I was a child. I've loved being on the camera, and I love seeing like lifestyle and making lifestyle videos. So I personally love the app, but I do understand somewhere or the other after a certain point of time it does get toxic for you.
Okay.
So I have like mixed opinions, but then I choose not to believe in those and I choose to be on Insta 24/7.
There are days when I want to throw my phone along with that Insta and say, "Okay, enough is enough." Uh, like I start saying, okay, only 10 minutes, and I realize after 3 hours that I've really done nothing and watch reels and
True.
reels of information that is not of any use most times.
Right,
Some of it is useful. Uh, I had a ground rule, so I come in the pre-internet generation, at least for myself. The internet had just about come in the US then, if I'm not
right,
mistaken, 1970s or something.
right.
But our exposure is far more recent. And one rule that I realized that was very useful to me as a writer was, even with the internet, not just Insta, was that if you know what you want, it gives you exactly what you need. And if you do not know what you want, it can ruin your time and day like nothing else.
True.
And so, well, that was the learning then. It continues. Um, when you said toxic, please can you define toxic for me?
Like you mentioned about instant gratification, so toxic in a way where I want everybody to, give me that attention in a way where it turns into instant gratification. So if I post something, or if I post a story online and I don't get a specific number of likes, or I don't get a specific number of comment, that ruins my day for some reason, and I feel that element of Instagram is very toxic.
Okay. Does it affect you?
I wouldn't say it affects me in a long term. I would say that it affects me for the time being in a way where I feel like, oh, why am I posting? I'm not good enough. So, yeah,
Uh, so can we stay at this point of the conversation that you made? Because I think it's a very beautiful, deeper point compared to the instant gratification, which is a more of a superficial layer to it. So what we
right,
feel is actually not good enough.
right.
So pre-Instagram, did you have people liking you?
Yeah, I would say in real life, yeah, yes. Not everyone, but generally most of the people.
See, if everybody was liking you, you would be a very false political leader.
True.
So that is anyway out of the question. But did people more or less like you who were like you in the sense of your kind of people?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Where is the story there right now with those people who liked you, and do you guys get to get quality time with each other or quality topics? Does that ever happen now?
No, that does not happen anymore.
Okay, any particular reason that you can think of why it is not happening?
So they are still a part of my life, and they still have a lot of, I mean, they still have a lot of value in my life, but we don't converse as much, probably because everybody is busy in their own life. And after graduation, after 12th, after 10th, we all like separated and parted our ways. So I feel like everybody's moved on with their life.
Uh, so no lasting friendships there.
No, not best friend type of friendships, but like some which are normally existing. And like, yeah,
Okay. So do you have best friends now?
no.
Okay. Uh, um, why do you not have best friends? What is the problem?
I just believe that that title is too precious to give it to anyone just like that. So I feel like I haven't found the right person to give that title to. Previously, I've been, very used to trusting people blindly and just giving that title to, anything and everyone. But now I just feel like it should be very reserved, and it should be given to someone who's going to be with you like for a long time rather than the short run.
So who needs to give that time, you or them?
Both probably 50-50.
Because one of the learnings that I have from my life, uh, so I may be close to around a good 100 people, if not less, or more perhaps.
Right,
And the reason why I've been able to do this is, uh, I think if I'm connecting with you right now, like we've hardly spoken 10 sentences uh, since yesterday, our failed Zoom call. Yet there is a genuine, authentic connection that I try and set. Like
right.
I'll say things which are happy, stupid, joyful, uh, really wanting to know you as a person, because I'm going to spend this 1 hour of my life.
Yeah,
Uh, but more than 1 hour of my life, which is not always, which happens in my professional life. When I give that kind of time, I value my time a lot more. But in personal connections, what I try and do is I try and set a standard of, like, we will not sit and uh, talk inane things like, oh, where do you live? What do you do? And I would rather know who are you? What
right.
makes you very happy? Or what are the things that you're concerned about? I really want to go to the depth of whatever. You may say it's not possible with everyone, but I think it's possible with almost everyone, even strangers that you meet, if you open that kind of conversation. Uh, so yeah, when you're looking out for a friend like that, the first person that you will have to be is that friend yourself. And of course, there will be times when you will realize that these people, but life is very beautiful that way. It kind of sorts out the people that are not supposed to be in your life. Uh,
Right,
unless your karma is toxic and it has come back to bite you where it hurts.
right.
So that nobody can do much about. But
I know.
even there, you can be your best friend. And those are different. That's a different topic altogether.
Right.
So now that I'm saying this, as a person who spent a little more time on earth than you have, without hopefully not having been preachy about it. how do you relook at this? Do you want to relook and talk a little bit about how would you approach friendships? Do you agree with what I said and anything at all that you want to share?
Yeah, in fact, I do. Actually, the way like you've put things into perspective, I feel like maybe I am not giving my complete 50%. And maybe what my notion of friendship is would not likely be the same as what the other person wants. Maybe the other person wants a deep conversation. And maybe I probably want to go shopping with them, which is not tallying at the end of the day. So I feel like to get like proper friendships, like you've given me a better perspective to look at it, and I'm definitely going to try this now.
I hope you continue shopping though. I don't want anybody to make a loss because you suddenly become wiser. Uh, let us stay on this topic for a little while because I remember asking my nephew a couple of years back. Um, right now, he's abroad and working, and he's 26, 27, something like that, 25, 26. So he was 22, 23 when I spoke to him. I said, who are your best friends? He says, I have 12, 13 best friends. And I asked him why. He says, everybody can't be trusted with everything.
Oh,
So that was his answer then. And I told him, what a poor life it is. He disagreed, obviously. We haven't spent time on this topic later. But his version was that some people are practical, so the practical things are discussed with them. Some people are emotional, the emotional part is discussed with them. Some people can keep a secret, you can talk to them about them. But the one thing that I have understood, so one little story I want to give you. There was a time when I used to read Reader's Digest. So this is about couples, not friends, but it's a nice thing. It said about people who are in a relationship try and always talk about 50-50. That he says it can never be 50-50. That quote said it always has to be 60-40, and both of you have to give 60. Because when you're always aiming for that 50, you will always fall short. And both of
right,
you will feel always that there has not been enough effort.
right.
And when I read this, I realized that it is so true. So in my life, I try and do 100 0,
Yeah,
at least in
that
my
happens.
head. Because if I like you already enough to befriend you, and friendship is, while it is used very loosely, and Facebook and Insta, make it okay, we like each other, we are subscribing to each other's accounts, following each other, whatever the terminology is, we are friends. But actually, what a friend means is that I can trust you with what is happening in my life and expect you to be there with me to understand or give me perspective when I need.
Right,
Uh, and similarly, if you have a problem, then I'll be your rock in that
correct,
storm. At least that should be the aim. I'm not saying it is always possible or successful in terms of the kind of lives that we are leading.
right,
But if, so for example, if you're going through a bad time and I stand with you during that, then I don't need to come and tell you that I'm your best friend. You know. Uh,
correct.
like even within our family, suppose you like a sibling or you like your mother or your father best or your auntie or uncle, there is somebody that you like. I don't think you need to speak every day or even follow each other on the social media. You pick up the call and talk to that particular person. Relations are generally not good to enjoy most of the time because we know all each other too well.
Yeah,
But there is somebody who's a favorite and you are somebody's favorite, and you know that you can pick up the call and talk, and the
yeah,
conversation is going to be beautiful.
right,
Most times, or at least it's going to be honest. Look, I don't have time. I'll call you back. At least
right.
straight to the point. So, do you think uh, now that you're seeing the context I'm setting, it's not about Irene alone, other people also, because if you have not made the effort, there are other people who have not made the effort towards you.
True.
I think a lot of In my generation, a lot of burden was on the romantic part of relationships, and then today we are trying to figure out new versions of friends with benefits, and then there is situationship and all kinds of terminology. But effectively, we are saying we want love, we want trust,
True.
we want honesty, we want to be with each other. Of course,
Hmm.
it's now becoming little like my nephew very wisely put it. Somebody has some use, somebody has some use. So, are we actually non-committal to our own happiness?
Um,
Because
well, yeah.
think, there's no hurry. Even I am making things as I go along. I have never given this topic as much thought as I'm giving it today.
Hmm.
And I'm speaking for everyone. Although it is
Right.
your generation you're speaking for, but I'm finding the same problem in couples, in parents and kids, in neighbors.
Yeah.
So do you think as a society, as a generation, we are non-committal? We don't want to take responsibility.
Yeah, because see, I myself, I come in between millennials and Gen Zs.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm that fine line. I don't mind taking responsibilities, but if I was given an option, I would not. But again, I know as you grow older, you have a set of responsibilities that you have to take by force. And I'm aware of that. But what I feel at the same time is Gen Zs, on the other hand, they irritate me a lot because they don't take responsibilities, especially being the elder sibling of a Gen Z brother. I relate to it a lot. So I feel like in this time and age, like I'm not that old either, but in this time and age, I feel like people are not willing to take responsibilities. And um like you talked about happiness, I feel like everybody deserves happiness,
Yes.
but some people are just too preoccupied with what they have in their life to forget to even smile. Like yesterday was World Happiness Day. I was so preoccupied in my life that like I saw the message at like around 10:45 in the night, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot to smile today, and today's World Happiness Day. So yeah, I feel like that's one problem.
Okay, please explain what is not World Happiness Day. Why shouldn't
Yeah,
we be happy every day?
yeah, that's true.
In fact, it is funny that you would say that because yesterday the one thing that I remembered from the Zoom call that this girl laughs a lot. And it is so nice to hear her giggle. We are struggling with the internet, so it's not a happy thing, but she's happy and it's a good thing. So
True.
be a little kinder because that's also my next question.
Yeah.
Uh, Sorry, I would want to stay here only because although we talked about Insta, I think now the deep depth of conversation is better here where we are. Uh,
Right.
do you think the problem is not that we are not kind or happy or open to connecting with others, including the example you gave about Gen Z? I have a daughter who's Gen Z. I don't know what is Gen Z. She's 16. I'm thinking. So I don't really know where the millennial stops and starts or
Mm.
whatever. I think everybody is. There are generations between generations that I have realized now. Earlier
Yeah.
there was generation earlier and now and then next. Now there is no such thing. I think every year we have a new generation coming up. They
Right.
become 4G, 5G, 6G, those
Mm.
kind of.
Yeah.
So my question is, I would want you to go into your personal experiences. And do you think the problem is that we don't love ourselves enough? Because you did say that when I post a story or something and I don't get uh, the requisite likes,
Right.
I don't want to limit yourself to the generation, but yeah, in your mind, I want you to connect with only what you are seeing. Because I've gone through the same thing with the Values Bookshop podcast. There have been days that I've got likes, so I don't even look at because people like only if Irene's friends come, they like. So suddenly I have 20 likes. I don't know how much the episode is like because of the effort that we put in. But
Yeah.
I've gone beyond that. I'm happy with views most times, and that also I'm working on doing the right thing rather than following the views. Uh, Although it does affect, I like to think that when I'm talking to young people, it is reaching people like you. I wanted to talk to people like you, and I failed miserably because the subscription levels are 35 plus for somehow my channel age group. And I am like, hello, I was wanting to talk to 15 to 30, and that has not happened.
Right.
But I have continued working, and recently this youth series seems to be working a little better than I envisaged. People are coming up. Uh, you've come up. Your friends
Yeah.
have suggested that you come up and enjoy this kind of chat. Uh,
Yeah.
there are other names that have been suggested to me. There are other. So I am actually talking to 15 to 25 now. Uh, Luckily, and I'm thankful because I think you guys are going to make the world. If you yourself are unsure about where you stand, and nobody takes you seriously enough to talk to you about such topics.
True.
So you are like, okay, when you are older, then you will automatically understand. But I
Right.
find most older people are overgrown kids
True.
because we get to do whatever we want, and who's going to stop us?
True. Yeah.
From the most layman kind of person to the highest authorities in the land, everywhere I find everybody does what they feel like once they are powerful. And that power may be age, maybe money, maybe status, whatever. So
True.
I come back to the original question. Uh, do you believe you can love yourself more, Irene? Do you believe you can respect yourself more? Do you believe you can spend time on yourself beside your looks, your lifestyle, your shopping, things that you like, and there is nothing wrong in liking all those things,
Hmm.
but that cannot be the be all and end all of your existence. So
True.
let them stay. I don't want you to judge that those are bad or good, but judge that किसी दिन नहीं किया शॉपिंग, किसी दिन अच्छे नहीं लग रहे हैं, you feeling you have pimples or you have, I don't know, anything that can go wrong, bad hair day, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Can you Can you tell us a little about self-love, self-respect? From your point of view, your experience, any good or bad experiences that you feel like sharing, or at least the mindset?
I feel like when I was in my 11th and 12th standard, this new Korean band called BTS had come out.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then the whole theme of their music albums were love yourself.
Okay.
So that was a point where I felt like, so I had just shifted from Kerala to Pune, and it was a vast amount of difference in the, in the landscape, in the form of people. Everyone was very I would say developed here. So I always felt like left behind. I always felt like, less compared to what these people have. And I shifted from CBSE to ISC, so that was even more difficult on me. So that's when I needed self love. So I feel like I couldn't be there for myself at that point of time, but I used to, you know, be there for myself through these songs. Like I used to listen to these songs, and they all they taught about was self care, self love, and that is something that I felt like comforted me throughout my 11th and 12th grade. But other than that, like right now, if you talk about the situation, then I feel like it has greatly improved, because like last year I had some personal experiences, and which has taught me a lot in my family. So I had actually gained a lot of weight, and all my relatives, like as usual, they were like, you have gained weight, you need to reduce weight. So I didn't take that to my heart. Every time they told me that, I took it. In fact, I took it as a way that, they actually care for me. I know that is not, some might not say with that intention. I know some just say you to, make you
In you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So even though that was their intention, I took it in a way as to something that will help me come out of the situation rather than putting me down.
Yeah,
So so I felt like that time I was actually there for myself, not through songs, but through my own character, through my own personality. I felt like I was there for myself.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, I want to again stay here. Your answers are so beautiful because they're practical every day without getting into some kind of philosophy, but they are mental states that one can relate to.
Right.
What if you were fat and you had to stay fat because of some condition? Would the self-love still be there?
I feel like that would be very difficult for me to accept, but once I accept, I definitely feel like there'll be self love.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Uh, I say, uh, to put things straight, I think fat people are uh, some of the most loving people that you can meet most times
True.
because
True.
I do not know why this generalization is true, but most fat people are good. At least
Yeah.
the ones in our generation. I don't know for the other.
Yeah, they are because they know criticism, they can handle it well, and they know that, some point or the other they have been put down, so they don't act like they are proud or they are on top of the world. So they're very grounded people, I feel.
Yeah, I think they have empathy. That could be one because I'm right now when I'm talking to you, I'm speaking about this friend, and I used to tease her not about her body, but she used to be a topper in the class.
Oh.
Her class, she was. We were working together, and I always used to say, "You cannot be. I don't. I am not friends with toppers, man. I don't like." And she always used to say, "You know what? I also won a gold medal at the university." I'm like, "Oh shit." So those kind of things, and but she had this healthy spirit of laughing at herself and understanding where our friendship kind of. We still are friends. She's abroad now, but
Okay.
um, why is it so difficult to accept oneself? I want to set a context to this a bit.
Hmm.
So you and I decided that we were going to have the Zoom call yesterday. We spoke about this a week back and kind of fixed the time, and both of us obviously found time in our schedules. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, we did not speak at all before that, and we just immediately got on call, and things did not happen at all. And they kept going wrong
Yeah.
either on your phone or my laptop or the light or something or unstable connection. All kinds of things were happening. So audio was not matching, video was not matching. Everything that could go wrong yesterday was going wrong.
Yeah.
It was neither your mistake nor mine, just that thing wasn't happening.
True.
How is it any different from being fat or being thick or being tall or being short? Life forces you to accept whatever it gives you in any point of time. We tend to forget it when we succeed most of the time.
Right.
But
Yeah.
actually, there is no freedom.
True.
There is one freedom, of course, the freedom to choose our mindset.
Right.
So, why are we uh, so unwilling to accept oneself? Can you spend a little few seconds on it and give me an answer? What is going on in your mind? Why did you struggle with the first part? Because where you failed is what is more important. Suppose the songs were not about self-love.
Ah.
Suppose you did not like the band. Suppose you did not have a taste for it. Suppose you love to be wallow in self-pity.
Hmm.
What do you think is the genesis of the problem? Why do we not accept ourselves?
I feel like when we are used to a certain situation from a long time, like when we are very comfortable in our own skin, we tend to, like generalize that we are. So for example, if I was comfortable being skinny, then I generalize myself as to being skinny my whole life. I see it like that. So suddenly when you're burdened with something and you put on weight, or you go through life and it teaches you a lot of lessons, and then there are repercussions to it, you don't seem to be able to accept it at that time. I feel like if you're used to something for a long time and like something new happens, then it's very difficult for your body to go through those changes and accept it at that same moment.
Okay. Is it
Like
also,
I feel like the mindset can be created with time, but not like the next day.
is it also true for the mind? So you feel dumb, you don't feel good enough to give that exam, you feel anxious about social situations, you are an introvert and don't like to be talk to people, but you're forced in a scenario of anything, a group interview, in an MBA, whatever.
So yeah, I feel like um, the mind is actually very intelligent. You can actually train it to be like that literally the next day. But I feel like somewhere or the other, your emotions and your heart also plays a role in all this, like the way you think, or like the people around you influencing you. So yeah.
Do you think a moral code there would help?
Yeah, I do feel like that.
So can you give an example of so okay, I'll give you a little context to what I was thinking about your 11th and 12th phase. We
Huh.
attract things that can either motivate us, or you can listen to all that and say this is crap. Life is not as easy as this. What self-love? Right now,
Right.
nobody loves me, and I am in a place which is making me miserable, and my studies are not going okay, and I know nobody here worthy.
Yeah.
So, do you think it works like that? Uh, that you are that the moment you change your mindset, chances are that uh, things start happening, or at least they may test you, but because you are in a good state of mind, you are ready to give the challenge your 100%. So certain things start becoming easier at times. At times, it may not happen. If one has cancer, you may still go and not survive. I don't know how it works, and I am not a positive thinker. I'll
Right.
I'll come to that part. But
Mm.
do you think your own self-image can attract good things to you so that you enhance yourself a little better in the mind? I don't mean like shopping is an answer to a lot of things,
Yeah.
but some days it is not, because that
Right.
also comes down.
Right.
So
Yeah. Um, yeah, I do feel like the earlier the acceptance comes, the better for you. Because I do remember, like, when I was in that phase of 11th and 12th, at some point of time, I knew that I had to accept the reality as to how it was. And I need to make changes for myself. I need to make changes not for others. So when I prioritize myself, I accept things faster. That's what I've realized.
okay, that's so beautiful. So are you saying we need to take responsibility
Yeah,
for our,
ultimately, yes.
for our sadness also?
Yeah, yeah.
So do you also mean to say that the event, the other person, the world is not responsible? You are the only person responsible for your sadness or your happiness.
I do feel like there can be other people responsible, or there can be the world responsible for your sadness, but ultimately the world or your friends are not going to deal the sadness for you. You will have to deal with it yourself. No one is going to come and no one is going to play a part and share your sadness, I feel like.
So let us study this a little more. How is the world responsible for your sadness? Because the sadness is in the mind. You can decide to be sad or not. Because you did say the mind is intelligent, it can be trained. And you were sad,
Yeah.
by the way. You were sad because of the circumstances. So the world had brought you from Kerala, your parents, whoever had decided you come from Kerala to Pune, you're settling in a new place.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're missing your friends and you're trying to make new friends and your
Right.
problems at college, everything is happening.
Yeah.
So sadness is there. The world is responsible in a way of sorts because, but that is life. Like things will
Yeah.
not always happen according to what we want.
Correct.
How is it responsible for your sadness? It was you who decided you are sad, and it was you who decided to listen to the song and feel okay about it.
Yeah, that's true. Now that I think about it, I feel like even though the world might be responsible, it's probably in your hands to deal with what it gives you, at the end of the day.
Okay. So I want to again stay there. How is the world responsible? Why is it not sad for me and why is it sad for you? Or let's go a little closer. Why is it not sad? Why was it not sad for your parents in the same way that it was for you during that time, or your brother, or your whoever else shifted with you?
Right.
So why was it not? Why was the world unsuccessful or in making them sad about that? If that is true, what your conjecture is that it is the world who is responsible to make us sad for a little while.
I feel like the circumstances that they had were different from mine, I feel, at some
So,
point of time. So maybe that.
so why do you think if there is a God or nature, whatever you want to uh, see as a bigger force than us,
Right.
who brought you to this point where you had to feel something? I'm not saying sad because then that's a choice. Like somebody
Hmm.
might be happy, some other person in your place might be curious and go out and suddenly make 100 new friends and
Correct.
become the toast of the society. Everybody wants to be with him, her, whoever it is.
Yeah.
That's also an equal possibility, right?
Yeah.
So the possible chances are that you were paying for whatever life experiences you have chosen or that have been chosen for you. Let's see, because karma is customized.
True.
Like your karma, I can't pay for, my karma, you can't pay for. We can only, I like an idea that one spiritual guy has given. He says it's like swiping a credit card. You've already swiped it. Now either you pay or you don't. It's up to you.
I know. Right.
And I find it's a wonderful thing. I've already done whatever it was. And so my favorite phrase personally is whenever I'm going through a bad time, I hope I had a lot of fun then because I'm paying royally now.
True.
So
Yeah.
I like to joke about it and get into that scene. So I want you to spend some time later also thinking about these things. Who is really responsible for the sadness or happiness? And
Right.
of course, you've also already mentioned the effort advantage. The beautiful part about all of these questions and your answers is that it's anti-Insta. We are not talking all the questions and answers have been timeless.
Right.
They can be 10 years from now, they can be 10 years earlier or 100 years earlier. And these are the same questions that not only you and I think all of humankind would grapple with. Because
Right.
instant gratification did not come now.
Hmm.
We've always been wanting, oh, let's see this movie. We used to go and buy tickets in black to see the movie on the first day.
Yeah.
So everybody's done their sense of instant gratification in some manner at some point. Uh, every generation, perhaps. I am unaware what happened hundreds of years earlier, but I'm sure there also people were led by impulses and uh, those seven sins or the five sins in Hindu, this Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, greed, attachment, lust, avarice, jealousy, whatever they are. So whenever that happens, it is impulsive. So it is instant gratification. So I don't like you. I immediately land up being angry and saying something that will hurt you because that makes me happy that you are hurt.
Right.
So it is instant gratification, but you don't need an Insta for that. Uh,
Right.
do you think maybe there is some scope for self-learning here in terms of You should stay away from what are the ready-made. Like my daughter also picks up any question we have before the question is ended. She's Googled it and she has an answer ready. So
Hmm.
once or twice I had to reprimand her and say, "Ki, it's okay to use your brain sometimes and not come up with the answer. The questions are more important. The answers really,
Right.
because the answer is
Right.
temporary gratification. You got the answer and you moved ahead. It can only lead to more questions.
Right.
But again, if the other questions are also being fed into a computer and you're getting your answers, then there is no life literally. Because this is imagination at work.
Hmm.
Because somebody is giving you, so for example, right now when we are discussing, you're finding, oh, this guy is so wise, I'm liking all these answers and I'm going to tie this up in a knot and always remember I will do this. And after
Right.
the podcast ends, then your mother says something that you don't like and you answer back and you're saying, there goes the wisdom. Matlab, it is half a minute. It doesn't even stay for 30 seconds. Why does it not stay? Because it is not self-learned. It has come from
Hmm.
somewhere else and it's not through personal experience and personal study. And
Right.
a personal word that I like very much in my life is pause.
Hmm.
So what does meditation or any such thing give is pause. It makes you reflect on things a little more deeper and to try and find out what is the meaning of. So why am I here? Why am I having this podcast with Irene? And why was your friend suggesting your name and not somebody else's name?
Right.
So I actually question these things a little more deeper. And then when I am speaking to you, I realize the wisdom of why she suggested your name and why you said yes. And perhaps you are seeing the wisdom of why we are talking now
Right.
in a fresh state of mind. The Wi-Fi is blessing us. Maybe Wi-Fi, God, there should be some temple for Wi-Fi also.
Yeah.
That I think of it. So, how uh, how would you incorporate one thing? Uh, okay, let me give you a bit of a context there. So, when my kid was younger, so my way of training her for these kind of things was that do one thing that you don't like and do one thing that you don't do one thing that you like to train your mind that who's in control. So you feel like checking that Insta story right now, how many likes you got. So don't do it at that point. So that itself will show you how agitated you get because nobody is stopping you, but it is you who decided it. So you can't even give galis to anybody. You think you're a right decision.
True. True. Yeah.
And do one thing that you don't like. Is stay off Instagram for a day suddenly during the week where you are not ready for it. And then see what happens. And you will find yourself bubbling with negative energy throughout the day. What's happening? And matlab, that is my bloody account, man. I should be able to decide when I will go on. But I have become a slave to that.
Yeah.
So maybe do you want to commit on camera on one or two things that you want to do to benefit yourself? Uh, Anything that you want to, so that later you realize, "Nahin, I have said this on camera, I need to say." If you want to, I'm just asking you. So one thing that you like that you won't do, or at least you will try not to do it in the immediate,
Hmm.
and one thing that you don't like that you will do. Is there anything you want to look at?
So one thing I like is basically analyzing my posts, like the previous one with the present one, likes, shares, comments. So I'll stop doing that. I'll post for myself. If I like it, I'll post it. I will not look at other people or their opinions.
Wonderful.
And one thing that I don't like is going off of Instagram. And I feel like it's high time I do it because I have my exams and I have, like you said, you need to actually um, realize your worth within and try to control your mind and your mindset. So I feel like I'll go off of Instagram for quite a bit.
Okay. One little suggestion there, don't suppress too strong because it will come out elsewhere. So you'll be agitated and angry all day, and then you're talking. badly with everyone around you. They don't know what's the problem. You have decided. So be a little balanced about it. There are days
Okay.
when this thing will go out of control. You have to accept that it is going out of control and try it still. So lesser hours. Suddenly deciding from today onwards, 1 month I'm not. It's not going to happen. You
Correct.
will only be agitated. Your studies won't happen. Your exams won't go well, and you will be cribbing all the time. So that's not the objective. The
Yeah.
objective is to create a happier state of mind
Right.
by focusing your energies where you want them to go.
Right.
So you could try that, and thank you for being a sport with that. It's a difficult exercise.
Yeah.
So one last thing, I do not know how long we've been talking, but I think it must be 30, 40 minutes for sure.
Yeah. Almost. Yeah.
Uh, I would want you to also see when you're successful or not during that experiment that you said,
Hmm.
without judgment, because the
Right.
world will do that well for you. You don't need to worry. If you want to put yourself down, just talk to the world. I am feeling good about this. They will do the needful.
True.
So you say, okay, I am feeling very good about having studied this subject. I think now I am in control. And your friends will put you down in 2 minutes and ask you questions that will make you feel miserable immediately.
I know. Yeah.
So, and that is the way of the world. It does its job quite well.
Hmm.
You need to stay there without judgment. Yes, I do not know the two answers they've asked me, but I have put in effort. I still think I have mastered the other 7 questions or other 5 questions, the 2 questions. Because wherever you stand, you stand.
Right.
And there is another thing I want to ask you. Good that it's just arisen in my mind. What are the
Hmm.
things that you will never do as a moral code? What holds Irene to a standard of being Irene without being judgmental, if possible?
Uh,
Whatever, if you feel like sharing, but at least I want you to know the answers in your head at least.
so like something that I wouldn't do morally. That's what like you mean.
Yeah, what is the moral code? If somebody comes to you and says, okay, what? I mean, you can't say, okay, because earlier you were fat, now you are little skinny, and again you will be fat. Some days you will be bloated, some days you will be absolutely skin, skin and bones. That doesn't count.
Right.
Throughout, what is it that stays true to who you are?
Hmm. I feel like you said, there are so many things, but I feel like one of the most important things when it comes to like moral behavior would be not not to hear what other people talk about someone and judge them based on that perceived conception. I there are so many people who do that. Like every one of my friends judge people just because some other person has told something about them. I feel like that is very wrong in the society right now, and many like relationships, or you can say friendships, break because of that kind of mentality or that kind of thinking. So I feel like that is one thing that I choose not to do consciously. And other than that, I feel like, again, like you said, like I feel like you shouldn't judge a person, like judge a book by its cover. So I feel like you should really understand what someone has gone through. And if you don't know what that person has gone through, then don't comment on what he's doing. Or like you said, friends with benefits, maybe somebody has gone through sexual trauma in their previous childhood, due to which they have certain preferences or likings. So I feel like no, like in this generation or in my older generation, I feel like people should be open to understanding other people's trauma or experiences rather than judging them like upfront.
Okay. So are you saying that anything is allowed, or will there be something that you will do with about it you don't have to judge them, but obviously there is a moral code involved. So,
Hmm.
uh, how would you go about something that some one of your friends is doing wrong, not necessarily the friend
Correct.
is benefiting, anything at all? How would
Yeah,
you?
if I feel, in my opinion, if I feel like something somebody is doing is wrong, I would probably confront them, but not in a scary way. I would probably ask them to, see someone like a psychologist or take self help. And if they are not, possible, it's not possible for them to do that. They are too, obsessed with themselves that they find it difficult to take self help. Then I would probably make it a part of my responsibility to be there for them and listen to their problem, and help them with probably neutral solutions, not too much in my head and not too much in their head, but neutral solutions, I would say.
So over a period, you think they will come out of it when they feel like this, but you are there with them as a friend.
Yeah.
Do you also realize that this answers the very first question? You said you don't have best friends. This is the quality that one would look for in a best friend.
True. True.
So, when they say that you find whatever you want within, I think your episode has answered that question much better than a lot of philosophy or scriptures would.
True. Yeah.
So, um, thank you so much for this absolutely delightful conversation. Uh, we couldn't have started the day and the week with a in a better manner. I would say,
Yeah. True.
uh, and all the very best with your exams and your efforts on self development, self love, self respect. I think you're a lovely person, and
Thank you.
not only will you be an asset to yourself and your family and the society itself, uh, your life can be better because of the choices that you're making. And I think it's a very inspiring thing to see such wisdom and such honesty at this age.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye.